I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Welcome to the Pleasure Principles podcast. Today, I'm bringing you an episode from our new exclusive series, I'll Have What She's Having, where we talk to successful women from various industries about their successes, the lessons that they've learned along the way, and how they find pleasure in their lives. Women work so hard behind the scenes to break barriers, to build, to invent, to run businesses, build empires. All the while, they're raising families, fostering relationships, and trying to keep shit together. There's nothing I love more than getting to know the stories of the women who did it, to get a peek behind the curtain, to see the beautiful, powerful women who said, fuck it, I'm doing it my way. I'll Have What She's Having was born from my online community where we are reframing the old patterns that we have learned to be jealous or suspicious of the women we see living their best lives, celebrating and shining with pleasure. We talk about not only wishing her the success and joy that she deserves, but also that it is possible for us too. When we see a woman rocking a sexy outfit, killing it in her industry, displaying love, light, and living life with pleasure, we need to stop these old patterns in their tracks. And instead of tearing her down, say, I'll have what she's having. We're celebrating sisterhood, community, and the magic that happens when women come together, because we all know that that is what the world needs right now. There's no greater pleasure than sisterhood, and today I want to introduce you to Dr. Kelly Lamoreaux. Dr. Kelly is a mother of 4, a celebrity cosmetic dentist, sports nutritionist, personal trainer, pre- and postnatal exercise specialist, and diastasis recti specialist. As an entrepreneur, she founded her company, Abs After Babies, and recently launched her own app offering strength and nutrition programs. Dr. Kelly has been featured on The Doctors TV show, CBS, Icon Fit magazine, Elements magazine, and more. She currently lives in Colorado with her husband and 4 kids. But what I would love to hit on is that you can't have both thing. And anything about like sexuality and your upbringing and messaging you received, I think would be awesome because I hear it every single day.
Okay. Yes, I would love to talk about it because it's definitely been an evolution through this process.
So let's talk about it. And this is what I find. Tell me if it's true for you, but I find with myself, with the women that I work with, it's go to school, get a degree, get a career, get married, have children. And it's like we're sort of on this predetermined journey of boxes that we're supposed to check. And it's so almost feels like it's dichotomous, like you pick, oh, do I want to be career woman or mom? Can't have both. Do I want to be doctor or be sexy? Can't have both. And I think one of the brilliant things that I see you doing is cosmetic dentist, mom, fitness model, like you're doing all of the things that society is saying pick. So tell me about that. Tell me about that journey.
Yes. So it's been really crazy along the way. In the last probably 6 years, I felt this real drive to live more authentically. I didn't feel fulfilled. And I'm a people pleaser and I have a big heart. So I felt I've spent my whole life making myself smaller, fitting in, trying to make other people not feel uncomfortable around me, being acceptable, being accepted. But maybe it's part of getting older and getting in my 40s. I got to a point where my soul was like, let me out of this box. And as I've gone, my story when I was little, didn't grow up in a religious household, but my parents had value systems um, along the way. I'm kind of, that girls are supposed to, you got to dress a certain way, be a certain way, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's generational that came along. So fast forward to where I am now. And I feel like my theme for this year is breaking boundaries of what
Mm.
women can do. What I can be very sexy and be a smart doctor. Like I'm still intelligent. I love what I do. I'm an awesome dentist. I just because I love it, and being sexy posing in a bikini doesn't take away from my skills as a dentist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was something that was messaging I think I received going through school, like pre-med, all that kind of stuff. And I don't even know if I've shared this with my audience. Definitely haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I shared it with you when we were chatting before this, but
Uh-huh.
I used to do lingerie modeling, but I did it
Oh,
not with my own name because I knew I was in school and I never wanted people to be able to look it up because I thought it would so negatively affect my
yeah.
professional career.
Yes.
So that is the level of in the boxness at the time in my early 20s that I was.
That is That is fascinating, and I can relate because I still, as I'm given opportunities, I'm on, earlier this year, I just Playboy reached out to me to be on their platform called Centerfold, and I really battled with it because it was something I wanted to do, and I spoke to my husband about it, but because I went back and forth, how is this going to affect my career? How is this going to do this? How is this going to do this? And actually, interesting, recently I posted a video I did with a photographer that was set to music. It was kind of sexy. He used neon lights. I posted it on my stories. First time I posted it, it got removed within a minute. Someone reported it. I posted again and a couple days later and like covered my body. So, if someone was offended, they didn't have to see. And I got a message from a man who follows me, and he's married, and he said, if my wife posted that, she's a doctor, she'd be fired, is what he said. And I understand she probably would have been fired, but I also felt like it was a little bit of a judgment from him, almost like reprimanding me. And so I wrote back and I said, well, I own my own practice. I'm my own boss. I can do what I want.
Mm,
And I realized in that
yes.
moment that I feel like if I want to show up authentically as myself, and if what I do authentically offends someone, they're not my tribe. And I don't want to make myself small anymore. I want to live a full life of so many experiences and joys and things. And I don't want to make myself small so other people accept me, you
And so
know?
they feel good. Yeah.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that is a big part of our conditioning as little girls. It's don't take up space. Make sure that you're making everyone around you comfortable. Like,
Yes.
your feelings
Hmm.
don't matter, but like this random man on the internet who probably isn't even a medical professional himself, it sounds like his wife is,
No. Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
he's, kind of telling you in a backdoor sort of way what you should and shouldn't be posting.
Hmm.
And yeah, that just from little girls we're taught that everyone else's feelings are more important than us. Like, don't be too sexy, don't be too joyful, don't be too angry. It's just like
Yes.
So small.
Be so small. And I remember my parents, like, when I was little, teaching me that adults how to, like, I gave all my power to adults. That was what I was taught. Like, they're an adult, you have to listen to everything they say, which now that I'm a mom, I realize how dangerous that is. I teach my kids that adults are not always right, because I feel like that sets them up for to be abused sexually, like so many things, like it's not right. But yeah,
Hmm.
I was taught that. And my
Same.
it's so sad to say that I'm 44, but I feel like I spent most of my life giving everyone else my power and downplaying myself. How is that's painful to think about, but I did it.
And the fact that you did realize it,
Mhm.
and now you're choosing both and by you doing it, because I feel like there is
Yeah.
this awakening, there is this feminine rising. We're all kind of like, no,
Uh-huh.
no, no, like I'm not going to be scared of my power anymore. If it makes you uncomfortable, that's on you.
Yeah. Yes.
So walk me through this decision making process about Playboy. I'm asking for the audience, but I'm also asking for myself, and I'll explain in a
Great.
minute. Not Playboy,
Okay.
but
Well, I have to tell you, I do. I sound confident. Like, my motto is breaking boundaries, and I am confident in this direction, but I am constantly, like, battling with that inner, like, fear of every decision I make. Like, I know it's what I want to do, but I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen? And so Playboy reached out. They wanted me to go on this platform. And, in the past, like, you have OnlyFans and all this stuff. Well, with Playboy, I have been I love taking photos that are creative, like in lingerie. I love it. It's empowering. And if you have a good photographer and then you see yourself, like, I remember the first time I did a shoot, like, I was like, why am I doing a shoot? Like, I am not qualified to do this. And my photographer was so good. And I saw myself on the back of the lens. And I thought to myself, every woman should do a photo shoot. It's so empowering. Like, you don't have to show anyone, just do it.
for
It's so
you,
empowering.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
it like, I feel like women are so self-conscious, like, I'm not worthy to do that, but every woman is. Every woman. So, yes.
It's an exercise that I recommend often to do some type of like
Really?
lingerie or boudoir shoot for the women that I work with. Yeah. And
Yeah.
we talk about the difference of like performance and like
Mhm.
actually doing it for yourself. It's very different.
Yep.
And also, if you take these photos for yourself and you choose to show it, or you take photos and you
Yes.
choose to share them publicly, also your choice, which is totally cool because we have autonomy. We're making decisions that work for us. But
Yes.
doing the photo shoot, like selecting the photographer, selecting the lingerie that you feel good in your body, or maybe starting with some like bigger loose clothing and like getting relaxed and taking it off, and then seeing your body like, yeah, through the lens. There's something kind of magical about it, or the way that someone else sees it, and just
Yes.
feminine form. And art has been made
Yes.
about this for years, just curves, whatever, even things that we think aren't sexy, like a
Yeah.
skin wrinkle or something, like a scar or what stretch marks, like whatever it is,
Yeah,
getting to that point where you feel comfortable and you see yourself is a huge gift.
it is. And yes, I think it's a very powerful thing. And I like you said, too, like, I just because I post and I do photo shoots and stuff, I think I loved what you said about we have our own autonomy. Like, every woman, like, if you want to be modest, that's beautiful too. If you feel great, be modest. It's about us being authentic with ourselves and, not right. Yeah.
Exactly. And those are the things that I'm constantly exploring. Is it's,
Hmm.
you know, are you shaving your legs because or getting laser hair removal or whatever, because it feels good for you, because you love how your legs feel when they're smooth and it turns
I love
you
that.
on? Or
Yeah.
are you doing it because it's some societal standard or you think you have to? Very, very different. And when we get in, I think that's why we have this big problem of low libido in women, because we're doing
Yes.
things we think we should, and it's out of
Yes.
obligation.
Yes.
And that's not
Oh my
sexy. That's
gosh.
depressing and oppressing.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love what you just said. Because as moms, women, we have so much pressure on us for everything. And then we're not living authentically, and then that affects our power. That's so amazing. What an insight. That
And
is
it's
so true.
depressing. Like I think it's like
Yes.
functional depression for a lot of women.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you, after I had my fourth baby, I remember distinctly one night sitting in my room in a chair and just like crying, just not feeling myself and just feeling very lost because I had kids. I had 4 kids in 5 years, and I graduated dental school, had 4 kids, gave everything to my babies, which you do, but I also lost myself, in that time. And I went through like I've gone through so many transformations since then, but it's all related to what you just said of just giving up who we
Mhm.
are. And you should be able to do both, like we were talking about, or have it all. You
Both.
should be able
And
to have it all.
yeah, wherever this came up, that it was one or the other. And even
Yeah.
I teach this stuff. I work with women on this of, hey, let's have it all. The sex, the money, the amazing relationship, because you
Yes.
deserve it.
Yes.
But I still battle it myself. And I thought I had my shit handled. Then I became a mom. And then all
See?
the shoulds and stuff came up for me. And oh, if I want to work, am I a bad
I
mother?
know.
If I,
I
right?
know. Yes.
One or
Oh
the
my
other.
gosh.
And why
Oh,
can't it be both? Like, what makes you a bad mother for wanting both or choosing what makes you happy and lights you up? Because does that not, in fact, model the life we want for our children?
it absolutely does. And I think every woman goes through that. Now my kids are age 10 to 16, and I'm seeing that my daughter, I'm seeing how me living authentically is empowering them. Like my daughter's like, I'm going to create an online business, or I'm going to do this, or, and my boys
Love
like
that.
yeah, and my boys being, um, liking having a mom who does everything, or can have her own life and not just be a mom, or, so.
I I love that so much. So tell me, because I'm sure people
Okay.
will think it. This is not what I
Hmm.
think, but I just want to let's talk it out so we can
Yeah.
share a different perspective. So
Let's, yeah.
Playboy contacts you. And it's
Yes.
so funny because we promote like success and achievement and money, and these are all things that our society values. But yet when a woman goes after it, then it's also like, you know, shame on you in a way. But Playboy's a
Yes.
big deal, is what I mean. Like
Yes.
this is not some small time shit. This is a big deal.
Yes. Yes. And it's
And
funny. Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
It's funny
you.
because if OnlyFans contacted me, I was like, OnlyFans, it has a stigma. I have a stigma with it. But Playboy to me was more iconic a little bit. And yes, so, but
And again, it's about your discernment for you. So I want to talk about like, how did that conversation go with your husband and with like having kids? Because even sometimes I think about this with my career and the
I
things that I
know.
do and that I share openly. Like, is this negatively going to affect my daughter? Is she going to get made fun of at school? Like, anyways. So I'm sure you
Yes.
considered all of these things. So talk about how it went with your husband and
Yes.
talk about if you like what your
Okay.
considerations were with your kids.
Okay. And I'll talk about with my husband because I think this is important. I definitely am very different. We've been married 17 years. I'm definitely very different than when we first got married. And as I've had my awakening, there's been rough times. Like it scared him a little bit. And I talk about this because I think other women will get the same.
Hmm.
It was scary a little bit for him, but I knew in my heart that I had to live authentically and push forward for what I wanted. Now, and we worked it out, but now he's so supportive. He was so excited about Playboy.
That's
Like, I'm very lucky, very supportive. He was like,
that's
"That's so
amazing.
empowering."
And
Yes.
it is
But it
important to talk about those parts and the hard times. And that's what this All Have What She's Having is all about. I talk openly about my divorce because when I had my awakening, when I had oh, I've been living in this box,
yeah.
my ex-husband couldn't come with me.
Yep. And it's rocky and hard, so I'm glad we're talking about it
It's not all
because
rosy.
this
People look at the now and they're like, oh,
no,
like they tell me sometimes, oh, must be nice or whatever. But it's like,
no, you went through it. And the
oh,
thing
yeah.
is you can't what I determine is like I can't let my soul die. I just felt like my soul is dying, not answering what I needed to. And I don't I want a very full life. We get one life and it's short and I want to be like have things and do things and experiences. So,
Those and to live small, live with parts of you turned off, dissociated from your sexuality, dissociated from your beauty because you chose to check the doctor and mom box. Like,
yeah,
who came up with that game? Because I don't want to play.
no, me neither. And definitely do not want to play that game, but it's ingrained deeply in me. So all this stuff pops up. Even though I'm moving in this direction of my authenticity, like I still deal with the pop up of emotions. So yeah, my husband was very, very supportive now, but it hasn't always been that way. And he gets excited about it. And he's like, oh my gosh, my wife. I mean, he's like, you're like in your 40s, you're mama four, and you're on this Playboy thing. Like for him, it was like, I've got the prize, and which is
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Which is awesome, but he like I said, it's been an evolution. And then the next thing with my kids, I did really struggle with that because I have a teenage boy. You do have to be 18 years or older to go on the Playboy. So how I decided to handle this is I like taking these pictures anyway, and I would not post them on my Instagram out of respect for I have a lot of moms that follow me, a lot of different things. So I don't always post this stuff on my Instagram. And I thought this is a perfect outlet for me to post something I love to do that empowers me, lingerie photos, whatever. This is it. And it's 18 plus. So yeah, I do. And I did battle with that. And then I battle about my patients like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
my patients are going to go on there and see me. And then they come but then I decided I was like, but at the end of the day, you attract the tribe that understands you. And so if these patients would have judged me or whatever and find out about it, they weren't really in my tribe. They really wouldn't be loyal to my practice, loyal to me, loyal
Yeah.
to
They're
who I
not your
am.
people.
They're not my people. But I mean, it is a business that I run. So, I'm still new in this Playboy thing. So, still battling all the emotions, but I do feel very empowered. I mean, I'm 44, a mom. I can do this. And I feel like I get messages from women all the time, like, "You inspire me," and I felt unfulfilled, and that to me is more than, like, any money that I get or any material possession. Knowing that I touched someone else because I've been in a dark spot before too, just feeling hopeless and sad and lost and not knowing who I was, and so knowing I can give other women courage to be a single mom and go back to school and be a doctor, go do this.
Put the
So
lingerie on, whatever. Yeah. Do
yeah,
whatever makes your heart happy. And that's the epitome of I'll have what she's having and why I wanted to have you on, because instead of responding with jealousy, instead of responding with criticism, in like when you see a woman in her power, instead of, coming from lack
yeah,
and fearing it, that flip of, wow, I'll have what she's having.
Excuse
I
me.
want some of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and it's interesting because what you said, I felt like a real call to do this also and do this idea of breaking boundaries for women, too, for other women to give them, permission to do the same because I've never felt better in my life. Like I just feel so happy and fulfilled and I don't feel like I'm missing out on things, you know?
And I feel
Mhm.
like there's something about following that intuition of like your intuition, your authentic knowing. We call it our pink canary in Pleasure Collective, but like that
Oh, I love that.
sign that like we know what to do, we know what we want. And often we're taught to turn away from our intuition, like to turn
Yes.
it off because we're doing the should thing, because we're a mom or
Yes.
whatever. But when you follow the intuition,
Mhm.
then you're in a place like an empowered, authentic place that you are now. When we follow the shoulds, we are alone, crying at night when, and I was doing it too.
Yes.
I've been there multiple times, where
Yes.
it's lost. And when I get lost, it's because I'm following the shoulds, not my pink
Oh,
canary.
I love that. And you're not feeling good. That's like our litmus test, right? Of your
Yeah.
intuition.
And it starts to show up. I see it anyway with health. And it's,
Mhm.
we're sort of depressed or we're anxious. We start not sleeping, maybe hair's falling out, like we're gaining a little weight that's hard to get off. Like our body's kind of trying to signal, like, you're not happy. You're not living
Yes.
authentically.
Hello, pay attention to me. Hello.
Mm-hmm. You might not even know what you're missing, but if you've been searching for answers for why you're so successful in your career, but lacking in other areas, why your libido's low, why you feel so burnt out, overworked, why you're snappy and irritated all the time, why you can't lose the weight you want to lose, why you're exhausted but you can't sleep at night, you take care and run the show at work and at home, but you can't figure out how to take care of yourself the way you want to, you are in the right place. Maybe your relationship is on the brink of divorce, or you're missing the days of connection and intimacy that you once had. If you long for the spark and connection and you want to feel like yourself again, that radiant, turned on woman, then I have the solution for you. Work with me, Dr. Jordin Wiggins, naturopathic doctor, sex educator, and feminine burnout coach, in my executive one-on-one coaching program to learn how to receive pleasure for better sex, better health, and more wealth. I promise you, they are all connected. I work with women to teach them how to receive pleasure and to open to all of the possibilities that this life has to offer you in health, wealth, and love. Because you deserve success across the board in your life. Finally, find the secret that was missing from all the work that you've done before and understand why you are so successful at work, but lack the spark and connection you long for in your relationships. When you learn how to receive pleasure and learn what was holding you back, you unlock possibilities in every area of your life. Suddenly, you can receive compliments, trust, acceptance, friendships, money. You know how to take better care of yourself, and you receive the praise, acknowledgement, help, and support that you've always wanted, but didn't know how to get. Everything comes when you learn how to receive and adopt a pleasure mindset as a way of being. My executive coaching program gives you exclusive access to me in person or via video chat, and my years of experience of working with thousands of women, Eastern medicine theories, and practical everyday ways to apply the work to see real growth in your life and relationships. Get the support you need to repair your relationships, start having mind-blowing sex, and open to the possibilities of what great pleasure means to you. Revolutionize your relationships and build the abundant future that you, your relationships, and your loved ones deserve. Click the link in the show notes or visit my page on Instagram at Dr. Jordin Wiggins to learn more about my coaching packages.
I think you bring up something that, like, looking back on my journey after I had my babies, I'd gained a lot of weight. And that was really, that was my weight loss journey, was really what spurred me on to my whole life journey, because I wasn't happy. So I was like, well, I need to get skinny, quotation. I want my body to look better. So I went on this journey and I lost weight and I did fitness competitions, and my inside transformed. And that was the real power of that transformation. It wasn't my external, but that journey of losing weight and getting in shape, because I was pretty hopeless. I was like, I lost 48 pounds. I was like, oh, I just need to accept my mom bod. Like, this is it. Don't even try. Like, there's no way. Like, if you would have told me, that person back then, that I would have looked like I did now, like fitness wise, I would have been like, you're lying. I will never be there. But I did it and pushed on. It was a struggle, but that gave me so much confidence, and it woke me up to, like, wait, I have so much I want to do in life, and I'm going to do this and that. And then doors opened. And so it's, yeah.
And and I think that even was intuition. Even if you thought, like you said, the weight was in quotations, even if you thought that
Yeah.
that was the outcome, but that you wanted, that was going to make you happy, which we know
Yeah.
it doesn't. But
No.
but then you got in momentum and you
Mm-hmm.
followed that intuition, and one thing led to the next, and you just kept breaking boundaries along the way.
Kept breaking boundaries and going. And, I want to bring up, so growing up, like, I want to talk about, like, sexuality a little bit and, like, expressing myself. So growing up, I was kind of taught, like, sex is bad, or like masturbating's bad, or you don't do that, even though it wasn't a religious household. Um, and being sexy for me was taught that that was bad. So
You're going
I
to
feel like
attract the wrong kind of attention.
yes. And I didn't think I was pretty, and I was shy. And I would say, in the last few years, I've learned sexy's okay. But I can't believe it took me this long in my life. It's so bad. But and then I was used to be Mormon. When I was 19, I moved to Las Vegas, Sin City, and I became Mormon. Who does that? I do that. I go to Sin City and become Mormon. That's me. So I was Mormon for years till I was 35, 19 to 35. And then my husband and I decided to leave the church. But when I was Mormon, there was a lot of, I love, the Mormon people, like, wonderful people, miss that community. But, the religion itself, there was a lot of stigmas. Like, me even being a doctor, I would downplay that because I didn't want to make other moms feel they felt uncomfortable with it, because they were stay-at-home moms. Now, I think that's changed. I think more women are getting education, but back then, sexuality was really seen as a portal towards sin, a portal towards this, a portal, you know what I mean? And so even like, so I wasn't even comfortable with, like, my own pleasure stuff until, like, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, which is sad. Super sad.
And reality. And thank you for sharing, because so
Yeah.
many women, the smart men, that they listen to my stuff because they're looking to improve their
Yeah.
relationships or things for their wives, that
Yeah.
the religious conditioning in sex is bad, and like just the shame
Yeah.
around it all, like your
Yeah.
desire is bad, your turn on is bad, that again creates so many problems in relationship, so many
Yeah.
problems
Yeah.
in our relationship to ourselves, because how are we supposed to be a whole person if we're dissociating from a
Mhm.
natural part of being human, which is our sexual health and well-being?
Yeah. And I wonder, do you see it? Like, it seems like women, I feel like, are because we want to do good and follow the rules. And I feel like we're the ones that shut it off. And then you're in a marriage and the husband, I mean, yeah, I went through all that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And then it can be a huge issue in relationship. And I find that like couples counseling or sex therapy only does a margin of improvement, like a small improvement, um, because what we need is that overhaul, that reconnection to our power, like the whole thing. We need sex
Like breaking
re-education.
boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then when we can turn that on, then that's like a fire that's burning, because we're alive, we feel happy, we, seek joy and pleasure and more pleasure.
Yes.
And not in a like, and this is the other thing, because we've been taught to
I
fear
know.
that. We've been taught to fear the word pleasure, taught to fear our power,
I know.
all that stuff that
Yes.
keeps us small.
Yes.
And in and it's sad because so many people in a relationship, like the two people do really love each other, but if they can't sort out that
Mhm.
sexuality piece, I feel like a lot of divorces can be attributed to not having that connection and intimacy.
Mhm. And not letting go in that intimacy and just feeling like you can, but I mean, you're in a loving relationship, like, that's a safe place, but yeah, it's layers deep of conditioning, right? And
So deep.
everything.
And it is the letting go. And that's like, I teach it in two stages from what I've
Mhm.
learned and seen, and kind of like what we're ready for. And pleasure principles is stage one. It's like sex re-education. What is my body? How does stress affect my body? How does all this conditioning affect my turn on and desire and all that stuff? But we're learning, right? We're learning about it. We're exploring
Yeah.
ourselves. We're exploring, how do you communicate these things to your partner in a way that doesn't hurt their feelings? All that
Oh, I
stuff.
know. That's a lot.
And then the second stage is the letting go, is like it's all the extra stuff where we can, not just like think these things in our head, but actually allow ourselves to surrender, allow ourselves to feel the maximum amount of pleasure. And like, I'm having to teach it. And why did I have to teach it? Because I had that conditioning that I needed to unlearn myself, the pelvic pain, the depression, the shoulds. Like, I
Yes.
know it because I had to
Yes.
walk that path and figure out those answers for myself. But it's interesting that you said
Yes.
let go. And why is it so hard to let go with someone that we trust, we have children with, we've built a life with?
Uh, yeah.
Conditioning.
I I wonder too, looking back on my life, yeah, the conditioning of me being fearful that I would come across as being too much or not following the rules or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I can tell you today where I'm at and just really stepping into my power, it is the most amazing thing. I'm very happy that I have chosen to do this because I feel fulfilled, stepping into who I am and all of those things. So I encourage women to do it because you get one life and make
I
it
love it.
beautiful.
I hope that is a message that is
Thanks.
conveyed. To last question from me. I'm asking everyone on this series, share a brag with us, something that you're like really proud of, because this is another thing I feel like we don't do. Men are good at bragging. Women, like, again, like you said, you're downplaying the fact that you were a dentist in a religious community. Like, what? So what's
Yes,
something that you want to brag about, something you're proud of?
something I'm proud of. Well, this is what's first coming to mind. So I am proud of yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was driving with my son, and he said to me, he's 10. He said, "Mom, I just want you to know you're the best mom ever." And he goes, "And thank you for all the time that you spend with me." And he said, "I know how lucky I am to have a mom like you because a lot of kids don't." And the reason why I'm bragging about that, because as a mom, I do so much. I'm a business owner. I own 2 businesses. I feel like I'm not home a lot. I fly out, I do photo shoots. I'm all over the place. And so for me, I'm bragging because my kids love me and they think I'm a good mom, even though I'm busy. I'm not just here giving up my whole life to whatever they need. I am fulfilling myself too. And so that made me feel good. So I'm bragging that my kids think I'm a good mom.
That is amazing. And thank you. I needed to hear that. So many of our
Yeah.
listeners I know will need to hear that. And I appreciate your
Mhm.
time so much.
Yes.
Love you, love what you're doing, love this breaking boundaries thing.
Yay.
I'm so grateful for you to come on and share so
And
authentically.
and thank you for having me on. I adore you. I love all your work and all that you're doing, and glad we got to like talk in person for the first time, and
Yeah.
so excited and honored to be on your podcast. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this exploration into breaking boundaries and living life on your terms with Dr. Kelly. I love sharing the journeys of successful women and what they decided to do for themselves, their families, and their pleasure. We all win when we win together. Thank you for listening and celebrating sisterhood, community, and the magic that happens when women come together to support one another. And thank you to Kelly for sharing her story. I'll have what she's having. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.